Welcome to Wisdom for Living broadcast with Feyi Adesanya, a program designed to equip you with insights for quality living from the scriptures. Sit back and relax as Pastor Feyi shares a timely message with you today.
Good day to you. My name is Feyi Adesanya. Welcome to Wisdom for Living. I started off last episode talking about doing a lot with a little. And I remember mentioning that we are taking a cue from the miracles of Jesus, where he used 5 loaves and 2 fishes to feed 5,000. And at another time where he used 7 loaves and a few fishes to feed 4,000. I said that beyond looking at them as miracles alone, they are indeed miracles, real life miracles that happened. But you see, I believe they were written for us to be able to understudy. We can replicate these miracles in our lives too. The miracle of doing a lot with a little. If we understudy the principles, underlying principles behind these miracles, I believe, alright, and I have experienced this in my life too, that we can also, at different junctions in our lives where we find ourselves with seemingly little resources that we have to use to do great things, we too, taking a cue from the life of Jesus, can do this miracle. That is, we can use a little to achieve a lot. And I think this is a very important thing that we need in our age and time today. You see, it's not every time that God gives us more resources or that we need more resources. Many times when we are faced with big circumstances, big tasks to do, we immediately assume that what we need is more resources. Sometimes what we need, and a lot of times actually, what we need is not more resources, but more resourcefulness. I'll say that again. What we need many times, where we have a lot to do but little at hand, what we need is not often more resources, but more resourcefulness. And we can see that from what Jesus did there. He had 5 loaves, 2 fishes to feed 5,000. Alright. Well, one option is to look for more loaves of bread and more fishes to do the job. But instead of going that way, Jesus decided at this particular point to go the route of resourcefulness. And we can learn from that. So the first thing I want us to learn from that is this: estimate what it will take. Estimate what it will take. You see, just as you can scarcely cure a disease you can't diagnose, you can't meet a need you can't describe. That is, before you can cure a disease, you first have to rightly diagnose it. If the diagnosis is not correct, the solution cannot be in sight. So the first step towards solving a problem that seems overwhelming, or any problem at that, is to first understand it. What is the problem? What will it take? Alright? This is the problem, and this is what I will need to solve it, is what you should be trying to aim at. I want to know, what exactly do we need at this junction? That's what I mean. That's the beginning point of solving the problem. To arrive at this, you will need to ask yourself frank questions and even provide even more frank answers. That is, sit yourself down and ask yourself questions. Remember, Jesus said in Luke 14, I believe it's verse 28, he said, which of you intending to build a tower seated not down first to ask himself, do I have enough to wage this war? Do you understand? That's the beginning point of solving any problem, especially when the problem seems humongous, bigger than you have resources to take care of. So let's, again, like I said, take a cue from Jesus, how he fed 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. In John's Gospel 6, from verse 1 to 14, verse 5 in particular, Jesus asked his disciples, when shall we buy bread that this may eat? That's the question. Where are we going to get bread to feed this amount of people? Then Philip replied, and he gave a rough estimate of what they will need. He said, we need 200 pennies. Right? You find that in verse 7 of that John chapter 6. They realized they needed food. They counted the exact amount of people they needed to feed. That's how they knew that they were 5,000. You see that now? And they estimated how much that would cost them. You see, just that alone puts them in a better place to solve the problem than somebody who just says, all I know is I have a multitude to feed. You see, when you are vague about the problem, the solution will elude you. You have to be able to describe to the best of your ability, this is the problem. And when that is done, you are on your way to getting the solution. This even includes when you pray. You see, we have to be able to articulate our desires definitely, even in prayer, for God to be able to meet them. You know, one time blind men came to Jesus and they just said to him, Jesus, have mercy on us, have mercy on us, have mercy on us. And Jesus called them and said, what do you want me to do for you? What exactly? And they were able to say, that we may receive our sight. And at that moment they got their miracle. So you have to be definite. You have to be able to estimate, okay, this is the need. So how much or what do I need to get this job done? All right. When you are able to do that, you are on your way to getting the problem solved. So when you are faced with a huge task that your resources seem incapable of handling, first thing to do, like Jesus and his disciples did in that case where they used 5 loaves and 2 fishes to feed the 5,000, they estimated what exactly is needed, what it would take to solve it, and the possible ways of going about it. That was how that miracle started. What amount of bread do we need to get this thing done? And that's it. They knew the need. They understood the problem, right? They estimated what it would take to get the work done, right? And that put them in a very good place to getting the work done. I believe if you apply this also into your present situation now, you find that you are able to better address the problem at hand. My time is fast spent, but do well to join me next episode. I'll continue with this string of thoughts on doing a lot with a little. God bless you.
Thank you for your listening attention. Tune in again, same time, same station, for another episode of Wisdom for Living. You can connect with Pastor Feyi on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Feyi Adesanya, and on YouTube at The Teacher Ministries. For partnership details and other enquiries, send an email to theteacherministries@gmail.com, theteacherministries@gmail.com, or call 070-555-20824, 070-555-20824. God bless you.